Good morning. It is Sunday, September 4th, 2022, and we are currently parked on Porter Brook Road in Maine, heading up. Well, we couldn't get all the way to the end of the road because there was just a spot that with our car. We have all-wheel drive, but it's not like a high clearance vehicle or anything. We decided it wasn't worth trying to push on. And so there's this nice open area here where we parked and set up a tent last night. So we're going to be road walking a little bit to get in to bushwhack for Kennebago Divide and Whitecap. And then so we're going to do Kennebago Divide first, then Whitecap, then bushwhack to Boundary Peak, and then come down the swath, the border swath, and it comes very close to a different section on Porter Brook Road. So we should be coming kind of down and connecting and then come back up to the car. And it should be under 10 miles, hopefully. Yeah, it's, as you can see, overcast, and actually looking there, it's like, I don't know if you could tell, but this is all cloud right there. So that's okay. They're all viewless peaks. I hear there's some nice views once you're in the border swath. So maybe by then it'll be clear. There's a chance of rain today. I think it's a 35% chance of rain in the mid-morning. So we'll see. I mean, it is what it is, but we're out here. Didn't see anybody else driving out. It took us about an hour and 15 minutes on these logging roads from Route 16 last night. They were in pretty good shape, but not, you weren't going to go crazy fast. I think the maximum speed we hit was like 24, and a lot of it was like 12 miles an hour. So it was slow going. All right, next, we're going to set off. It's around 8 o'clock in the morning right now. Okay, so we're 3/10 of a mile up the road, and this is where we're going to split off. There is a tiny piece of tape on a evergreen here. The road keeps going, and then where John is, it's like an abandoned logging road. So wear long pants, prepare to get wet. It didn't rain, but it is really dewy. So we're going to take this in. You can also approach Whitecap and Kennebago Divide from the east side, but and I think that was Kennebago River Road. I'm not sure. But we're going to come in from the west. So it's an adventure. Okay, so we have been approaching Whitecap and Kennebago Divide from the west, and the herd path has been very well defined and used by herd as cattle or whatever. Not cattle. Moose and deer for sure. We saw prints. So this is the junction. Here's a cairn. This way goes out to Whitecap, and this way heads to Kennebago Divide. And this was the approach right down there from Porter Brook Road. I can say the footbed was very well defined, but there was an area, it might have been 1/10 of a mile or half of that was very wet with like little springs and stuff running through it. It was quite wet. And I guess it doesn't really matter because you're already wet from all the dew. See how wet that is? I don't know if you can tell how wet my feet are, or my pants. You're pushing through most of it's pretty clear, but some of it is not clear. So just be prepared. We did take off our long sleeves, and I don't regret it currently. It wasn't like dense pine or anything, but it was just wet asters and things that were like 4 feet high. Okay. Okay, so next stop is going to be Kennebago Divide out this way. Okay, update. This very well-defined footbed right here does not go to Kennebago Divide. Not directly. You go out it. We're looking at our tracks. I'm like, wait a minute here. John was. You go out here about 100 feet maybe, and then you have to go to the right. So I'm not sure if I heard that there's a short section where people get turned around out here, and I think it's that because I have several GPS tracks and they all kind of go all over the place, and then they converge together after that. So let's see if there's a spot that looks like it would be good to cut in. Do you? Well, right here's pretty open. Let's see. I think right here. I'm gonna cut in right here. Whoa. Yeah. Okay. So this is sort of, somebody has been through here. That's how I'm gonna go.
Maybe that's the same.
So this is the summit, which you can see is in a cloud, but there's no view anyway of Kennebago Divide, which I guess is North Kennebago according to this. It's got a sign. It has a rudimentary glass jar canister. And there were at least 4 groups here yesterday. Nobody else here today though. All right, so it took us, it's 2.1 miles from where we parked. So I guess it's 1.8 from Porter Brook Road, and an hour and 20 minutes roughly. Get up here. And definitely the area between where we came up and then had to come out here, that first bit is like a bushwhack. You're like, it's very open woods and all kinds of herd pathy feeling things. So you just kind of wander around, and as long as you have like a compass bearing to follow or your phone, GPS, whatever, you just want to try to aim the right way. So, but it comes back together. You do come back onto a well-defined herd path, but it took a little while. We are on our way out to Whitecap, about 2/10 from the summit, and this has been just easy. So Kennebago Divide is a little tricky, where you split off at the beginning of it. It's tricky, but this is just follow the herd path, and it's been quite lovely. There was a little bit of wet in one section, but it's really pretty so far. We met one other couple heading out to Kennebago Divide. I don't know, they're doing Whitecap also. I don't know if they've already done it. I sort of think they might have. Anyway, that's what we're up to, almost to the summit. So this is the summit of Whitecap. And it's weird because you approach it from this side. I mean, this is the accepted way. Look at how well beaten the path is. You come up and you feel like you're at the height of land, which you are, but it looks like the path keeps going. And they put the sign and the canister on the back of the tree. But there it is, Whitecap, and then there's a canister which we're in the process of filling out.
Would you like me to?
Yeah. And then we're going to bushwhack off this side to go out to Boundary Peak. So that'll be interesting. I don't know how much of a herd path there is for that. I don't think there's all that much. Okay, and as you can see, we are in a cloud. And it took us, it's 3.43 miles from where we parked, and it's 2 hours and 20 minutes to get here. We are about a half mile down on the bushwhack. We're just kind of coming out of the dense, mossy pine. And this is boundary right in front of us in the cloud. But this area all down in here has all been logged. And then over here, there's a pond. And we have seen lots of evidence of moose. So that's where we are now, slow going. Okay, so we're still bushwhacking our way down.
He's over there moving.
Yeah, he's moving. Right where John is pointing, there's a moose. And he's kind of moving away. So that's cool. It's not close enough to, like, I don't have a good camera to zoom in. But he's definitely out there. There's been a ton of moose poop, and we're following like moose tracks. Look at him go. I don't know if you can see it on this. He's definitely moving. Because he was right where we wanted to go, and now he's probably a couple 100 feet away from that. We're just going to keep heading our way. I'm sure he will not approach us. Yeah. I'm also looking at something in the woods, but it's not moving.
I didn't see that.
That certainly looks like a moose to me, or a deer, but it's not the color of a deer though. So we'll see as we... Okay, well, we are still on our way to Boundary. We came down off of Whitecap, saw that moose out in what looked like a field, but it actually was very wet. It was very slow going through that tall grass, basically a bog. And we decided we came out to a place where we met up with this abandoned logging road. So we decided, instead of continuing our whack up to Boundary, we would take this goes east-west, so we're gonna take it west as far as we can go, and hopefully it will bump into the border swath or get us very close to the border swath. I think about a mile away from Boundary, and then the border swath should be a lot easier going than our bushwhack was, which was really, really thick at the end. So that's our plan right now, and it's so much nicer doing this. Bushwhacking is fun, but man, it's exhausting to have to be focused so much, and I thought it was particularly difficult in that area that had all been logged because you can't see your footing. It was wet, and there were like just old remnant pieces of rotten logs everywhere. So it was not particularly pleasant. So that's our plan right now. We're about halfway down this, and I think we're gonna get pretty close to the swath, if not all the way there. So that's great. If you look on a map on Gaia GPS, we're going right along the north side of Denison Bog. So that's what we're doing right now. All right, so we followed that logging road to a big open area, which is right back there. And then we just came through a little moose path, and now we're on the border swath. And the Canadian side, which is right there, you might be able to see, there's all kinds of baits and salt licks and blinds and stuff for attracting moose. I heard there's tons of them. So anyway, we're about 1.5 miles now from Boundary. So hopefully it'll be there soon. We have to go up and down a couple times. Oh, there's a Boundary marker right there. Let's go see it. And I can see more hunting blinds and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty steep right there. All right, so here's our first Boundary marker for us. Albert Smith. What does that say? Treaty of Washington. The other side, what does it say? Lieutenant Colonel B.B. East Court, H.B.M. Com. Okay. Cool. Ooh, I was just in Canada. All right. Up, and then down, and then up, and then down, and then up.
Isn't this considered like no man's land?
I guess. So that's where we're headed, directly into a cloud. We are at 3553 feet of elevation right now. Oh, man. So one of the reasons that we wanted to avoid doing the swath both ways was that it's a lot of up and down. But that was the up. We didn't eliminate, because we did the bushwhack and then we cut over to the swath, we did not actually cut off any of the climb. So we just came up to a little, whatever this unnamed peak is. There's a survey marker right over here. Where is it? Right there. And when we came out onto the swath, our elevation was like 2,100 feet. And we just climbed up this, and it is like a ski slope. It's just, I had flashbacks of climbing up Killington. It was, we're at 3553, so it was like 1,400 feet of gain in, less than a mile, right?
Yep.
Gosh, that was a lot. Sweating now, and we just saw 2 people coming the other way. So that's pretty surprising. Whew. Anyway, so that was the bulk of the gain. We do have some up and down, but man, that was rough. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we are now up at Boundary Peak, and this is showing us like a peak finder view of all the stuff we would be seeing from here, which we're not, all the way to Carter Dome and the Wildcats, Mount Wambeck, Mount Cabot, Dixville Peak, that's in New Hampshire. And then they have a summit sign on the Canadian side. And they also have some hikes you can do if you were on the Canadian side, because there's a park that you can come in if you go and want to hike it from the Canadian side. There's the little border. Oh, I don't know why this rock is in the way. There. US-Canada border. Looking down the swath. This is the way we came. And then on the US side, there's a cairn.
Is this 84?
Yep. And then presumably there'd be a view out that way to where we just were. So that would probably be Whitecap, and then Kennebago Divide and that big open area. And then Panther, which is another name for it. And the old canister, there's a new one coming. Yep. Who signed it today? Anyone?
Yeah, a few people.
Yeah. Okay, we're at another boundary marker, and I think this is where we're going to turn away from the swath. But we just came to Monument 450 Peak, which we had a book to sign, and it had an old register over here. I don't know why it's just kicking around like this. Someone signed it yesterday, and I signed it today. The register is wet. And it was just sitting on the ground over here. I have no idea. But, which way do we go?
That way.
Really? Okay, so...
I don't have the track, so I can't
Okay,
tell.
I will tell you.
It looks like we go
I
that
think
way.
so, yeah. So we're heading away from the border swath. We saw 2 other hikers coming off a boundary as we were going up, and we just saw 2 guys on dirt bikes and their 3 friends who decided not to come down. It's super, super steep section of the swath. So they're out here. Some Canadian dirt bikers are out here riding on swath. That's it. Very quiet day.
It's grouse.
So we're on our bushwhack portion coming off of Monument 450. And the beginning of it, there's like a herd path that goes over to Whitecap. So we took that for a little bit. And actually, it really is a herd path. It's a moose path. But people have definitely been on it. And now we're cutting off. So this is a moose print. It's hard to see, but we're just following moose trails pretty much to get back to the top of Porter Brook Road. We're pretty close, but it's been super nice walking in here. And we just saw a spruce grouse, which is always kind of neat. Just walking along the side with us. All right, so successful day, and we both agree that dropping our plan to bushwhack all the way up to Boundary was a wise idea, time-wise. And it just made everything more enjoyable. I think the border swath is, ordinarily not the greatest thing to hike, and it's kind of like hiking on a ski slope. But being overcast today helped a lot. And I don't know if I shot any video, but where we popped out initially onto the border swath and headed up, that was like all uphill and dry. But then coming back, as soon as we got past where we joined the border swath originally, it was like mud and running water, stream. It was just rough going. So I just consoled myself and said, well, my feet are already wet, so have at it. But it was just unpleasant going for that section. But this is nice. Nice open woods.